I'm David Lombardino, Editor-in-Chief of DLA Editors and Proofers, here to talk to you about how to write an outstanding personal statement. Today I want to talk about specifically what words to use in a personal statement. And this question comes up generally in two forms. First is what I would want to call using magical words, or a certain set of words or certain words that are sure to get a program director's or admissions committee members' attention in reading your personal statement. And second is the use of technical versus non-technical vocabulary in a personal statement. Now, there are generally two myths when it comes to which words to use in a personal statement. The first myth is that it actually matters which words you use in a personal statement. And the second myth is that it doesn't matter which words you use in a personal statement. And let me break that down for you. This question comes up year after year, and it's understandable why. You want to write an outstanding personal statement. You want a personal statement that's going to engage the reader's attention and get that reader to go from point A at the beginning to point B at the end and be engaged every step of the way. And the way to do that is to use your own words. Now, if you're somebody who generally uses simple words, then use simple words. Don't go using a thesaurus and looking up a complicated synonym for a simpler word that you would more naturally use. You're not being judged on whether or not you know a long word to use in place of a short one. Second of all, I want you to consider that the personal statement is an extension of yourself. It's a first impression, and you want to be honest and you want to represent who you are personally to the program director or admissions committee. And so you want to use the words that are natural to you. Now, I understand that there are a lot of candidates who are speaking or writing English as a second or third or fourth language, and so some of those words may not come naturally. Well, it's appropriate for you to get some help from somebody who uses English as a first language, as a native language, if you have any doubt about it. But I want you to think about, okay, my earlier example of using simple words instead of longer words. Again, you're not being judged on your vocabulary, you're being judged on the content of your personal statement. And so when it comes to magical words, there are no magical words that are going to get you an interview or get you to get the position compared to other words that you may use, within the understanding that you need to use your own language, your own words, your own vocabulary for writing your personal statement. And so then we come to the question of technical versus non-technical vocabulary. And this question comes up most frequently in applications for medical residency, when you're talking about a patient or a pathology or whatever it may be. How technical do you get in talking about that in your personal statement? And I want you to think about that question in terms of what I've just discussed, which is, how do you talk normally? If you were to go meet up with a friend, how would you talk to that friend about whatever it is you want to discuss in your personal statement? How technical would you go? Now, of course, you're going to have to use technical vocabulary at certain points. I mean, when you're talking about a pathology, you're going to have to name specific diseases, or how a patient presents to the ER, for example. You're going to be technical, but there's also a limit. You don't need to go overboard with it. Now, if you are somebody who generally uses technical vocabulary, then you do want to use the full range of technical vocabulary. And this comes up specifically in positions that are research oriented, or where research is a strong component of your application. And so then we're thinking about maybe less medical residency and more medical fellowship. And not all medical fellowships, because not all medical fellowships or not all candidates for medical fellowship, like for example cardiology, are going to be so research focused. But if you are research focused, if the fellowship that you're applying for is research focused, or even a residency position, if that's who you are, then use the technical vocabulary. I mean, present yourself however it is you are. Now, there are certain words that I want you to avoid in writing a personal statement. And these are words, it comes naturally out of what I've talked about. These are words that are not your vocabulary. It's not the way a normal person or you in a normal conversation would talk. And that is comparing the practice of medicine to being an art, or calling it noble. These are descriptions that come up all the time, and nobody's going to be impressed that you write that it's either noble or an art. And so that's what I want you to consider, is how would you describe it normally? How would you want it to come across? How would you talk normally about it to another person? We offer a full range of personal statement services, from proofreading to revision and critique to consultation. Come check us out at www.dlaeditors.com.